and good day. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz from eTurboNews, and this is a breaking news update. For more news updates and shows, please go to youtube.com/travel news group. youtube.com/travel news group. Here's our update.
New travel patterns, soaring travel expenses and unvaccinated travelers. Travel is becoming more expensive and more uncertain than ever, according to the latest research. Travel expenditure increased by a whopping $330 per trip due to COVID-19 related entry requirements. 58% of Americans that traveled abroad this summer were not vaccinated, according to the research. 47% of millennials refused to travel because of high costs, while 25% were scared to travel with unvaccinated children. 18 months after the start of the coronavirus pandemic, countries have reopened borders to travelers. A recent survey found new and emerging travel trends, with travel becoming more expensive and uncertain than ever. The survey analyzed data from more than 3,500 travelers who traveled abroad to understand these new travel patterns amongst Americans. Travel expenditure increased by a whopping $330 per trip due to COVID-19 related entry requirements, and so has the uncertainty, with 41% of travelers actively involved in travel communities related to their journeys. Additionally, 58% of American travelers were unvaccinated, with the most common destinations being Mexico 37%, Greece 19%, Dominican Republic 12%, Bahamas 11%, and Aruba 13%, and Costa Rica 8%. Major survey results. 58% of Americans that traveled abroad this summer were not vaccinated. As countries reopened their borders, non-vaccinated travelers returned to the same travel patterns as before COVID-19. Old travelers are on the rise, with a quarter being 50+. Amongst other demographic shifts, 47% of millennials refused to travel because of high costs, while 25% were scared to travel with unvaccinated children. Florida is the hub for unvaccinated travelers. 20% of unvaccinated American travelers live in Florida. The top 4 U.S. states by active COVID-19 cases also led the pack for most outbound travel amongst unvaccinated Americans. Florida accounted for most outbound unvaccinated tourists, followed by Texas, New York, and California. Traveling is inefficient. Each traveler spends more than 5 hours determining entry requirements and filling out paperwork. In addition, 23% of travelers saying they contacted either their airline, hotel, or travel platform to understand the entry requirements, with airlines call waiting times running into hours. The new normal. This survey highlights the inefficient processes set in place by governments. While it's understandable that requirements exist to keep COVID-19 at bay, countries must streamline the process. As countries look to revamp tourism, they underestimate the impact of fast, efficient systems and clear, easy-to-understand processes have. Countries have introduced a range of requirements to enter, making it more expensive to travel than ever. On average, the extra cost adds up to $330 per traveler and constitutes COVID-19 visas, travel insurance, and COVID-19 tests. In addition, 79% of travelers expressed frustration at the lack of disclosure by hotels and airlines on the added costs of traveling, only to discover them much later when the cancellation was not an option. A COVID-19 visa, also known as a health visa, is a new visa that travelers need to get. While they're electronic, the approval is not instant. Authorities review each application, they can only be submitted a few days before the trip, and are not free.
Thank you for listening to our news update. There's more on youtube.com/travel news group, or you can read us, of course, in going to our news portal at eTurboNews.com or travelnews.online.